Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And are you a good fan or a bad fan?
Yeah, I know, right?
You're probably a bad fan.
If you don't agree with their opinion on everything, then you're one of the problems. You're the bad fan who's just a racist, hating, misogynist troll.
And the media is going to be there to tell you what a horrible, horrible fan you are.
Never mind, they troll more than anyone. But hey!
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. You know, we said before that the salt over The Last Jedi being canceled out basically by the Rise of Skywalker is going to lead to many, many, many interesting articles for weeks and months and days, years to come. And it's happening. The movie's been out in the theater for weeks. It's done. It's over. People have split opinions on it. But the pop culture media outlets are going to keep beating that drum.
Yep.
They're going to keep beating the drum that the fandom is awful. Mm-hmm. Because
no, only the fandom doesn't agree with them is awful.
Right. The fandom doesn't agree with them because...
Well, they did the same thing. They did it with She-Ra. They did it with other things. Basically, if they did it with, Captain Marvel. They did it with Charlie's Angels. They did it with those. If you don't like it, it's not, you're not entitled to your opinion unless it's the right opinion.
Yeah.
If you have any opinion other than that opinion, they will flat out say you're man babies, you're trolls, you're racist, you're misogynist. They were flat out saying this on these blogs, calling the fans these names on these blogs.
And meanwhile, the blogs are starting to collapse. Yesterday we were talking about Collider. Collider is actually changing their focus. They're getting rid of a bunch of their video content, including the Jedi Council, because it just seems like it's all dropping. These digital media outlets, the interest is waning, and I think it's due in large part to their contributors antagonizing the fans. So the fans are like, fine, you're going to call us names. We're going to go someplace else. We're going to get our news from someplace else. So they go to YouTube, and then these media outlets, chase the fans over on YouTube and try to stir up crap. So speaking of YouTube, before we get into the video even more, we're going to talk about a lot of things here. We're going to talk about this kind of anti-fan article here on Comic Book Resources. We're going to talk about the editor of The Rise of Skywalker saying that a lot of things got cut. And we're going to talk about some salt, including people being salty. Salty about Finn and Poe not having any romance scenes. And the editor basically has to come right out and say that was never the plan. So please subscribe. We're at 86,000 subs, hoping for 100,000 soon. Okay, and let's talk about this first.
I mean, same as any other day.
Pretty much. It's not
a Friday.
It's a Friday. It's not Tuesday.
I mean, it's the same people, same argument. It's the fans. Remember when you were allowed to like or not like something, and it wasn't because it was a political statement, you just didn't like something? Well, those days are over because everything's a political statement with these writers. It's because they're just there to get their politics into the articles. I didn't like it because I thought Rey was kind of Mary Sue, and I thought that, Hodo and Rose were kind of not really well done characters, and they kind of, didn't make sense and ran in circles. You're just a racist. No, I just thought the character sucked.
Yeah. And the thing is everybody who writes an article like this thinks they're the first person to have this insight.
I know, right?
When this has been going on
quotes
for years. So I don't know if they're new to Comic Book Resources or what.
They are newer, but this is hilarious. Can I show you something real quick?
Yeah.
This is also the writer who wrote this great piece called Rise of Skywalker did The Last Jedi what Infinity War did to Thor Ragnarok, where basically Thor Ragnarok was a beautiful thing, wasn't afraid to lean into its silliness, and it was so wonderful. And The Last Jedi challenged audiences because it was so wonderful until they, overrode it with The Rise of Skywalker. So this person clearly has a Last Jedi fan agenda. All right, right off the but you're not allowed to be a fan of things, according to him, because fans are the problem. As he writes an article from a fan standpoint himself, liking the Last Jedi and kind of tripping everything else up. So he's allowed to have his opinion, but nobody else is allowed to have theirs. It's basically the same thing that happens in these articles.
The salt must flow.
That's right.
The salt must flow.
And he's so rude. I mean, are there troll fans out there who go out there and harass actors or go too far? Yes. But there's also a bunch of Reylo fans or Poe and Finn shippers who didn't get their way who go out there and made threats against like J.J. Abrams and stuff. So it's the same on both sides. It's a small percentage of the fandom, but you can't blame all the shitty behavior of the media and the studios and all that on the fans. Plus, fans have a right to like or not like something. You don't have to like it because they say so.
Yeah, well, this is what's funny, because ironically, it is these media outlets.
It is the media outlets. We've been calling it for years.
Yeah, fans lash out not because the movies didn't suit their personal taste, but because they offend their sense of identity.
It never offended my sense of identity at all.
From review bombing to outright hate speech.
Yeah, on both sides.
You mean fans are the real problem.
You mean like when, these media outlets call people trolls, misogynists, racists? You mean when the guy told me I was misogynist when I said that I wasn't, and I brought up the fact that he, as a man, was telling me as a woman what my opinion should be, and then he called me swear words in Spanish, but
yeah,
he was on the side of good and I'm the troll.
You're the troll. So it says the negativity swirling around Star Wars isn't coming from objectively bad filmmaking. It's coming from the fans.
No, it's bad filmmaking, and people tired of having to be told that you have to suck it up.
Dear comic book resources. At one point in time, you were a fan-friendly blog.
At one point in time, you're reputable.
At one point in time, you're reputable, but you, like many other pop culture media outlets, gaming news outlets, anime news networks, like so many of these other pop culture blogs, you keep hiring people that want to deliberately antagonize your readers.
Right.
And so they leave and they go to YouTube and they find people like us. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Who call a spade a spade.
Yeah, and comic book resources did at one point in time used to be reputable. Newsarama used to be reputable. So it goes on, talks about the Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, etc., being divisive. But this is before social media. Things we've said before social media.
But here's the problem too: if the fans can't have their opinion and the fans can't, say what they think, then they're not even. You know what I'm saying? If fans have a right to have an opinion, without the fans, you have nothing. Without the fans' money, they have nothing. I'm just saying.
So I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on here, because the media lost. They lost, and the fans actually won. After 2 years of furious debate, The Last Jedi revealed Rey's parents were nobodies, unceremoniously killed Snoke, didn't allow Reylo to come to fruition. When the movie didn't go the way they expected, a vocal contingent of fans became angry.
You mean like the majority of people, because flat out Disney would not change it unless they really honestly thought it was hurting their bottom line?
Well, that's it. They review bomb sites like Rotten Tomatoes, harassed actors. Yeah. None of this.
The review bomb sites like Rotten Tomatoes. I hate to break it to you, sweetie, but like when Captain Marvel came out, there was a concerted effort when there was all over Twitter where they were review bombing in the opposite way to artificially inflate the scores of Captain Marvel as well. It works both ways.
They produced countless video essays chronicling the purported sins of The Last Jedi.
Because it's a terrible movie. And unlike this person who writes numerous articles, talking about how great Last Jedi was. I mean, stop saying there's a bias when you yourself have a bias. So basically what you're saying is, every fan who's like Last Jedi is not a real fan. They're the problem. The people like you who understand its glory are the real fans and are the ones who they should listen to. That's basically what this person's saying. Again.
Yeah, I mean, unlike the countless blog posts, countless articles attacking fans who didn't like The Last Jedi, the countless stupid speculation that it was all Russian bots and like the alt-right Yahtzees had something to do with people not liking Star Wars, and then the numbers would come out. The toy sales were down. Galaxy's Edge wasn't performing. The Last Jedi dropped off a cliff because the word of mouth was so bad on it. If it was a small vocal minority, Solo Bond.
That's what I was going to say. If it was a small vocal minority, it wouldn't have the impact it had. So that means the general audiences worldwide didn't like it. Sorry you don't like the facts, but that is the fact.
So Disney made a business decision to try to salvage what was left of what used to be the most valuable IP on the planet, or movie IP on the planet, science fiction IP on the planet. They tried to salvage it by patching the holes that were created by the Last Jedi, because clearly it wasn't a home run with the vast majority of people, just casual fans.
And it's up for debate on whether or not that patch job was successful. But the point is, it's not a vocal minority like you guys keep spinning it. And I'm so tired of these articles talking about everybody just doesn't like things because they're a trolly, terrible person, as you sit here and troll other fans for not agreeing with you. I'm sorry, pot or kettle. You're not some superior intellect on this moral high ground over everyone. You go around assigning labels to people, whether or not they're accurate, based on the fact they don't like a flippin' movie. That is the epitome of stupidity and sadness.
It's so weird because Look, everything that they're accusing, and again, I'm not trying to just single out this one author.
And not you in general, like CBRs.
Yeah, it's not just like you are one of hundreds of journalists who basically were sort of the anti-YouTube, the anti-fandom menace, I guess, and they all kind of colluded together to try to tear down Star Wars YouTubers.
But it didn't work.
It didn't work, and what this is all about is that YouTube won. The Star Wars YouTubers won because Disney backpedaled.
Well, not just that. I think the Star Wars YouTubers are more representing the general public.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about extremist ones who, are out there calling people names and all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the ones that are bringing up valid points in general, and they're not just attacking to attack. They're legitimately having valid points and things like that, with a lot of them do. And, the general public, I'm tired of being told that if I don't like this movie for whatever reason, it somehow makes me a bad person. Basically, the media is bullying the general public, or attempting to bully the general public into agreeing with them by the threat of being a bad person and somehow not fitting in because you disagree. And that is a load of crap, and that is slimy and low.
This is just like every one of these articles where they start out like, here, I'm going to be the voice of reason, blah, blah, blah. And then you get down to about 3/4 of the way.
Okay, here we go.
Into the article. Before The Force Awakens was even released, actor John Boyega drew racist criticism because his character was a black stormtrooper.
I had never heard that, but you said you did.
I'd heard a little bit about it, but honestly...
Well, that's just dumb.
And have people said dumb things on social media? Probably, but I didn't hear that from the vast majority.
Actually, Finn was one of the best things about the movie.
Yeah, we agree. We've said this multiple times. Now, with the release of The Rise of Skywalker, he's at the center of a social media firestorm for a joke about Finn laying the pipe with Rey following Kylo's death. No, actually, he's at the center of a social media firestorm because he told a lot of you people to go F yourselves.
Yes.
And I love him for it.
Yes. He basically did. He got tired of your pushing, your BS, your ships, your whatever, because it's always about you. You sit there and scream about this, about, oh, you haters, racists, whatever, until you don't get what you want. And then you become the haters, racist, whatever, but it's okay because it's you.
Yeah, but here we go. Now this is where, and this always happens. It starts out like, here's my well-reasoned argument. Hear me out.
Oh, no, here we always go.
Here we go.
They're going to bring Trump up? They always do.
Well, I don't think Trump's mentioned, but here we go. There is a strong undercurrent of racism and sexism at the heart of these attacks.
I'm not racist or sexist. Still don't like The Last Jedi.
For some, the original Star Wars movies were mostly about white men doing amazing things.
That was not what it was about all. Yes, that was what it was, because that wasn't the write-up. It's a movie, a space movie about white men doing amazing things. It's like somebody is just trying so hard to justify their opinion that they're making shit up.
That needed to be...
That's a t-shirt.
That needed to be the first line of the opening scroll of The Rise of Skywalker. Instead of the dead speaks, it should have been, white men are doing amazing things! Exclamation point. Emperor Palpatine, the whitest white man of all, is back
Who's
from the
basically
dead.
standing for Trump. And
he's basically the Sith Jesus. We don't even know how he came back. We're going to talk more about that. But yeah, to have women or black men in lead roles challenges their notions of what Star Wars is.
Most people didn't have problems with Finn. Actually, most people like Finn. And Rey, the reason I am a woman, which you don't get to tell me what to think because you're not a woman, but as a woman, I don't like Rey because she's too Mary Sue, and I'm sorry, but she doesn't struggle at all. She doesn't get challenges hardly at all, but she gets everything handed to her for no reason. And we've had many other characters like Cara Dune, Mara Jade, other characters like that were Ahsoka Tano, that were well-written female characters that earned what they got. They didn't just waltz onto the Falcon and be like, beep, beep, oh, I could reroute it. I know how to fly this. I know everything about everything, but it's okay because I'm a Palpatine at the end, and that's why. I'm like, it's bullshit.
You know what's bullshit? If you don't lose a limb, you don't get to be a Skywalker.
That's right.
They should have cut her damn leg off or something.
Because they won't ever do that because that's violence against women.
She couldn't even have a scar or anything.
They wouldn't do that. They'll never do that because in modern day Star Wars, because that's violence against women. Even though, it's okay if you chop off every guy's arm, that's fine, hand, whatever, but you can't do it to a woman.
Oh my
because
God.
then people like this guy will tell you all what you're a misogynist because he knows women.
I just love it. So we're gonna switch articles here in a moment, but this is just like, this is literally the most cliche anti-fan article I've seen, and it's almost a
Well, that's because
parody.
it's only there to bait people.
It is.
So don't go look. Normally we say go read the article.
I'm not even going to tell you.
Don't even do that.
I wouldn't even give Comic Book Resources the hits. I mean, there are some good writers on there, but the site has basically become a Tumblr blog at this point.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to justify their existence, but I love this. Yeah, one could argue the fans are simply voicing their quote-unquote opinion of a racial character or screenplay. That argument's void once a racial slur or sexist comments uttered. Who?
Yeah, that's what. And what? I think Mary's a Mary Sue. I'm sexist. I'm a woman.
You're allowed.
I'm allowed. Well, what? Anybody's allowed to have their opinion. But you know what? You don't get to sit here and tell me as a dude what I should or shouldn't think as a female. I mean, by your own logic.
This is so dramatic. Loving Star Wars is not a bad thing. Being disappointed when the thing you love changes into something else is understandable.
No, it's not. No, as soon as anybody said anything they didn't like about the movie, even if it was a well-reasoned argument, they were immediately called racist, misogynist, whatever.
Russian
because
bots.
You don't like strong female characters. It might have had absolutely nothing to do with that. No one was allowed to argue. It had to be loved, or you people would, I don't know if Ryan Johnson's personally given you some kind of favor, but for whatever reason, you cannot not like The Last Jedi. You aren't allowed to.
For a long time, women and people of color didn't get to see themselves as part of the world of Star Wars. Now they can sit in the theater, look up at the screen, and see people like them being heroes and saving the universe from the kind of single-minded oppressors who may have tried to keep them down in their own lives. You need to do some dramatic flute music in the background or something. That kind of representation or inability to accept story choices that weren't yours prevents you from enjoying the movie. Star Wars isn't the problem.
Wait, you mean like you can't accept The Rise of Skywalker and have to write articles about how The Rise of Skywalker is bad and The Last Jedi is great? You mean like because you couldn't accept story choices? Also, I am a woman. There was a woman on screen. Her name was Princess Leia, and she kicked ass, and she held her ground with all the guys in the show, and you didn't have to somehow lower them to make her better. There's a Cara Dune. If you read the books, there's a crap ton of strong female characters in the books. Mara Jade, Tino K, all those people in the books, they're real. There's a whole crap ton of female characters that are great. There's a whole bunch of characters that weren't white in the books. The Lando that wasn't white. I mean, they got this. They keep forgetting too that it's full of droids and creatures from other places in the galaxy. We don't know what the hell race they are. They're not even the same species. But that doesn't matter. There's no diversity because this person it'll refute their argument if there's diversity, because their whole argument is that there isn't any, and they are the moral high ground of Star Wars.
Wait. Lando's not white?
That's right, because it's all white people doing everything.
Oh my god. So the same person goes on to talk about how, and again, we're gonna get off this guy because it's just so ridiculous, but talking about how they undid parts of Last Jedi,
which is the movie he likes.
And look, at the end of the day, what this is about is the fans won. They won. Mm-hmm. They voted with their dollars. Now, I don't think they made good choices for Rise of Skywalker.
No.
Okay, I think it was a very hurried movie. I think it needed to be 2 or 3 movies, probably, and Rey taking the Skywalker name is just bullshit. Anyway, but Disney listens to money. Okay,
yeah,
and the money wasn't there. Yeah, and the money wasn't there. So they made a film that they thought could try to mitigate the damage.
Just a vocal minority, honey.
No.
And I'm sorry, I don't understand. The people who like Star Wars are basically what he's saying is if you like Star Wars and you like the old movies, that you're a racist, misogynist, troll for liking the old movies because it was all white dudes. Mm. That's basically what he just said.
Yeah. It's funny too because there is a guy of Middle Eastern descent, I believe, out there on Twitter, screenwriter, who's using The Last Jedi as an example, teaching college courses as how not to write a screenplay, and a lot of people were actually rooting for Finn to be a Jedi. That did not happen. So yeah, and it's funny because a lot of people complaining about The Last Jedi, believe it or not, they're not white, they're not male. A lot of them are not conservatives. It just shoots the theory down. And, it just shows that outlets like Comic Book Resources, which used to be fan-focused, have no idea where the fandom actually is.
No, they're too busy bullying people into trying to agree with them. Basically, these websites is a platform for these writers to stand there and throw insults and bully people into trying to force them into agreeing with them because they're going to make you feel bad as a person. And if you show them how they are, doing the exact same thing they're accusing everybody else of doing, well, you're just picking on me. We're real writers, unlike you people who just take other people's articles and do videos on it. I mean, like you people who just take other people's interviews and write 6 articles on them.
Yeah.
It's just...
I think the studios are starting to learn, though. Like we said before, you can see a prime...
Stop listening to the media.
Yeah, a prime example of this was Joker, and I tried to corner Joaquin Phoenix, and they basically shut them down, and then they barred the a lot of the pop culture outlets, the media, from interviewing Todd Phillips or Joaquin Phoenix at the premiere of the Joker, and they have to do this. Studios don't understand. Maybe they'll start to learn now, but these news outlets are your enemies.
I'm sorry. I can't get past these two. That's kind of how I feel watching these movies. Like,
Tico
what?
and the Emperor.
You're like, what?
There's
He
Rose.
used to be this. And now I feel like this.
What the hell are we watching?
That's right. Rose Tico represents me.
She's confused, wondering why she's there. So we're going to move on here to, I'm sure, another interview that's going to have hundreds of articles written about it because the editor for episode 9 sort of dished on kind of what went wrong. And this is a woman.
Yeah, it's a woman, too. It's a girl.
Marianne Brandon. She talks about some of the choices, which sort of lends some credibility to the theory that this movie was not the JJ cut, was not the Lucas cut, but this probably was the Bob Iger by committee cut. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we're ever going to get, what this movie should have been, but it's too late now. There was no plan, whatever. It's all blown up. But here comes the editor. But she's answering some questions why Rey and Kylo kissed, because, that's been a subject of debate.
Because the Reylos who are out there being toxic and making threats against people, but they don't count because they're not, white men. All of them.
I love it. Yeah, they had a lot of different cuts. Should they or shouldn't they kiss? I would say, personally, I'd be like, hell no. He's a sleaze.
No.
I always said the movie will tell us whether they should kiss or not. No, actually, it's Bob Iger and his bean counters will tell you whether or not they should kiss.
Yep. Survey says.
Yeah, so Brandon praised the performance of the scene, especially the moment Kylo Ren smiles. The first time the character has smiled in 3 movies. I know it's not for everybody. I know there will be people who wish they hadn't, but this is a film that was never going to please everyone, including comic book resources. And I think the reviews are kind of reflective of that. The things that certain people love, other people hate. And that's a phenomenon of Star Wars. No, that's Disney Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's Disney Star Wars. They divided the fandom, even more so than the prequels did. So why don't we hear many details about how Palpatine survived? Apparently they had a whole backstory. Whole explanation.
We don't have time to fit it in.
We don't have time for that.
We gotta have them make it out instead.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand. Like, this is kind of a big deal. Like, how did Palpatine come back? It doesn't matter. He's just back. Well, is he going to come back again? I don't know. But they're talking about, it was kind of a delicate balance and that went back and forth a lot about how much we wanted to reveal. Some scenes changed quite a bit. Oh, you mean the reshoots that weren't actually happening?
Oh, yeah, the ones that never happened, yeah.
The way we wanted to present it to the audience, in the end, we ended up showing a lot less of it than we started with. Will there be a JJ cut with more Palpatine?
Oh, who knows?
Who knows? There was originally a little more information. Well, that would have been nice.
That would have been helpful. That'll be on the Steelbook.
But it went off topic. That's
off topic?
It's not off topic. It was off topic to explain how the hell Palpatine came back after being thrown down a pit, blowing up, and then having the Death Star he was on blow
George
up.
Lucas say that for sure he was dead,
It was off topic. And here they're like, well, how did Rey kill Palpatine? In the movie, Palpatine says if Rey kills him, his spirit will enter into her and he'll win. But she does kill him. So why doesn't he actually win? Also, Rey could have just unplugged that big machine that was keeping him alive. No, she can't, said the editor. She can't kill him in anger. What if she tripped? What if she tripped on a cord? And it's an accident. She made it look like an accident. Does that count? Is that anger?
Oh, okay, so I get the media now. They're just turning to the dark side because they're reacting in anger.
They're reacting in anger. So the whole reason Palpatine lost is because Rey didn't strike him down in hate. No, she had all the power of the Jedi. all of the Jedi inside her at once.
And she has reflected his power back, which, you know.
It happened to him before and it didn't kill him.
I just can't.
It just made him ugly. Why didn't he just get really, really ugly? And he blew up this time. He blew up before and he came back.
But really ugly.
Yeah, he came back. Even uglier than before. Where did Snoke come from? Why does he look like that? Has he ever heard of the word moisturizer? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
He's dead.
He's just, there's a whole bunch of Snokes. It doesn't matter. We don't need to tell you.
Do we even know why there's a bunch of Snokes? I don't think we even know
clones.
why. But why?
Because they're clones. And clones attack. Clones attack.
Attack of the Clones.
No, you know what this is called? This is called unlimited, it's like Palpatine talks about unlimited power. This is unlimited tie-in novels and comic books.
I thought it was unlimited. You were saying unlimited BS. But,
unlimited bullshit.
Tie-in novels work too.
Why did you cut Rose? There are a lot of characters in the film. There were way too many. We added some new ones because JJ wanted to make this film about a journey of the three main friends.
Well, which Rose isn't one of them.
Rose isn't. Rose was Rian Johnson's OC. Then Rey's conflict with Kylo Ren became very hard to service a lot more characters. Nobody wants to be serviced partially. They want to be serviced fully. She's an important character in the Resistance. We tried very hard to show that in the film. We think we did, but the film really couldn't handle much more character stories. We just couldn't handle Rose. We couldn't. The movie was too full. We didn't have room for Rose, even though she was a main in the second one.
They say she's in it, yeah.
Yeah. We all love Rose. Don't worry, we love her. We want to make her a character. We want to make her character sing. Oh, that would have been kind of cool.
Well, I don't think they meant
a musical number.
I don't think they meant literally sing.
Every rose has its thorns.
No.
And that's why she's in the end battle. We just tossed everything in the kitchen sink, including Rose, into the end battle. And I cut her I cut to her. I'm sorry, I cut her a few times. I cut to her a few times in the end battle because I know she's a fan favorite.
So only because she's a fan of Rose did you get more Rose.
Yeah, oh boy. Get your mind out of the gutter. They think there's more. Okay. Why there was no Finpo? China. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No.
I just said that.
Well, John Boyega was like, nope.
Yeah. John Boyega was like, nope. Yeah, John Boyega shot people down. He's like, hell no.
I like her explanation. She's like, because I'm cutting it together, I'm kind of taking it at face value, and I'm not reading as much into it as the audience, meaning I wasn't given a romance between Finn and Poe.
Yeah.
And maybe that's my nature. I don't know. She said, but I think, again, they're best of friends. There's kind of a brotherhood there where they understand each other, they got each other's back. As for any future love between the two, that's really up to Lucasfilm, if they want to make that in the sequel. Because it wasn't her job to go put romance in where there wasn't any.
Do you remember a time when characters of the same gender could just be close friends and not have to have sex with each other?
Well, I remember, you always had, if you had a character that were opposite genders, you just knew something was going to happen because, they always had these shows and they always put them together. And when they did, the show was going to get, end because that's what always happened. But now you can't even be friends with someone of the same gender as you because clearly, you have to be in love with them. You have to lean that way just because, several people on Twitter and Tumblr say so.
Well, it's like I'm looking at like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. They've made them a couple. They made them a couple based off an episode of the Batman animated series where they basically had like a girls' night out where Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy went and caused a bunch of trouble. It was purely platonic. They were girlfriends, but not girlfriends. They were going out doing bad guy stuff together. And now they're a thing. Well,
this is why I don't do girls' nights out or girl and girls' vacations because I just know that if I go on one of these, because the media and TV has told me so, that I will end up, in a relationship with them, and that's going to get complicated with you, and I just don't want to do that. So I refuse to do girl night outs. I'm going to start going out with a bunch of guys though, because nothing will happen for sure then.
Yeah, because that would be very sexist.
Right. If I go with a bunch of guys,
and nothing better happened. I'd feel very bad.
Nothing's going to happen if I go out with a bunch of dudes because nothing would happen anyway. But you know what I'm saying? If I go with a bunch of dudes, no one's going to talk and nothing's going to happen because it's when I go out for girls' night out with my friends that you have to worry. Because just we look at each other a certain way, and next thing you know, it's going to get complicated.
It's going to get complicated.
There's going to be me and 3 other girls in a bed, and it's just going to be.
Save that for Patreon.
I'm just saying, that's why I can't have girls' nights out.
I know, you can't help yourself. I know, anytime any two people of the same gender just express any emotion for each other,
it automatically makes them in love with each other.
Their pants just fall off.
That's right.
It just happens. But then it's problematic when you've got two people of the opposite gender expressing
Yeah.
themselves. Nobody wants to be expressed.
I have no problem with characters of the same gender having relationships. What I have problems with is there's absolutely nothing there saying they are, and then because Twitter and Tumblr decide that's the way it should be, that they ship them together and that's what it has to be. Or you're just a hater. You're a misogynist troll who's homophobic and everything else because you didn't give the ship that I wanted.
It's the fans' fault. It's
I
all
didn't get
fans'
two
fault.
lightsabers, so I'm mad.
I just love John Boyega shut these people down.
I know, I love him too.
That was pretty badass of him. He doesn't give a shit anymore. He's out. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we talked way longer than we were going to.
Yeah, we did. So this is kind of the, I'd say the nickel tour. It's more like the quarter tour.
This is the whole buck tour.
This is the $1.50 tour. All right, so we're going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.